I'm 25 years old, a failure, and hate myself. Why did I get linked this video?
There's no real goal behind this video. I just want to vent. I think most people do that with their friends or family, but I don't have either, so I'll just upload it to YouTube. I suddenly have this desire to talk because I've recently lost my job, and now I spend every night just lying in bed for hours, questioning myself, my future, my past, definitely. I think most people can relate.
It's really sad when you see situations like this, like someone that's actually so down in life that they have to force themselves to upload like a public video, almost like kind of a cry for help.
To lying in bed and just not being able to fall asleep because your brain just suddenly wants to think a lot. But yeah,
Dude, that's me trying to sleep every single night, genuinely. Like my sleep recently has been fucking awful. That's why like I'm trying really hard to try and get on like ADHD meds or something to make my brain shut up.
I've lost my job. It's been pretty bad. As you can tell by the title, I'm a 25-year-old bum at this point. I've had a job. It lasted for about a year, yeah. But it was never enough to get a...
You can tell he's like holding back as well, right? Like there's absolutely no shame. Like he's just going to admit like, yeah, I'm a leech, even though he isn't. But obviously his opinion of himself is just so low.
Apartment or something. And yeah, now I just want to vocalize the thoughts and ideas that, yeah, plague me every night pretty much. Yeah, let's start at the beginning, I guess. I've been alone for most of my life. In primary school, I had something, I guess you could call them friends, yeah. But since the 5th grade, I've completely isolated myself from everyone. If you're wondering why the 5th grade in Germany is...
Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, I didn't have too many friends. I had people that I knew, but weren't really friends. I do remember, like, when I was in secondary school and stuff, I was always kind of stuck in the nerd group. You know, the people that were just very socially awkward, that kind of thing. Because my social skills growing up were absolutely horrendous, like, genuinely. You know, I'd say all the wrong things. I wouldn't be able to, like, read the room and stuff like that.
It's the first school switch that you have to go through.
Yeah, but growing up, I didn't have that many friends. I'd always have a consistent friend group of, like, a couple people. But that was pretty much it.
And since then,
you know, like, this is going to sound so insilly, but I remember, like, growing up, and you'd always have... Do you remember there'd always be, like, the popular kid, whether it was at, like, school or, like, college and stuff like that? Like, every single time.
School day looked pretty much the same for me.
Or, like, you just knew that there were people that were in the kind of social hierarchy better than you, like, more respected than you. Because it's like, we're social animals, right? We all want to be liked. Some of us are extroverts, some of us are introvert, but all of us, like, unless you're an actual sociopath, psychopath, you want to be liked. You know, not being liked is, like, absolute kryptonite.
I came to the classroom, put my head on the table, tried to sleep, but that never really worked.
I mean, I know you're going to say something like, oh, Andrew Tate, he doesn't care, like, what people say or what people think, but, like, he'll care about what his fan base actually think about him.
Pretty much just lying around until the day's over. That was my school life, yeah. Pretty much since 5th grade until I was out of school.
Isn't it crazy how many people, like, at school live this same existence? Until, like, you know, video games were introduced. Because I feel a lot of people, they were, you know, a lot of people at school, they were kind of like social, not really that high in the hierarchy, that kind of thing. So their outlet was like video games, because then you meet someone else who's into video games, and then you know, like I guarantee there has to be one person in chat right now that met a friend on like Xbox or something like that, and then over 5 years later, you're still friends with that person.
As you might imagine, my level of education because of that, not great, not great. My last school year was in 2018.
Isn't this?
And I've been a jobless bum until 2024. So 6 years of doing nothing. Then last year I've got a job.
Wasn't this guy exposed? What? This guy?
The sort of freelancer thing, but that's no more.
Donkey said he met his best friends on Xbox Live. Yeah.
That's my work life. In regards to school, why I fumbled school, it was never really about the tests or anything related to that. It was always the social aspect. I'm never good around people at all, but children especially, even back then, I could not function with anyone like that around me. And I think that can be...
Yeah, my exams at school, like I was terrible at them. It was so weird. It was like I'd fail like...
One more thing, Pyro, what advice would you give to someone who wants to leave their hometown? Love the work, sincerely, the Gooning Night Shift Security Guard.
One more thing, what's some advice you would give someone? Thank you, Red, for the 10. Are you one of those Americans that's stuck in like a really small town and you hate it and there's nothing else to do apart from just drink? Because I've seen like so many documentaries and stuff of people that like feel that they just can't aspire to anything and they just always turn to drugs and stuff. I'd say if you can, like, get out, but you'd need to make plans for it. Don't just do it spur of the moment. Like, have an actual game plan.
Be traced back to basically insecurity about being judged, because let's face it, children are not the nicest, pretty judgmental, and yeah, I could not deal with that. Still can't, but...
Well, most kids are like assholes at school.
So yeah,
I mean, I remember when I was at school, like I was a bit of a prick as well.
even today,
Like I just never pay attention in class and stuff like that.
any social interaction instantly gets me sweating, starts my heart pumping. What certainly didn't help is my weight. Throughout my entire childhood and teenage years, I was heavily overweight.
So was I. Believe me, I was a fat bastard. You remember my face reveal? Holy chubster.
I think at my peak I was like 135 kilograms.
It's a great curse, man. Be fat as a kid. Lose all the weight.
Then in 2019,
And then TF2 Pyro incident.
I started losing weight down to 80 kilograms, which I managed to hold. That's something at least. I can't really explain why I did that. Like, that was a really weird time in my life. But I think at least subconsciously somewhere I was hoping that if I was happier with my physical appearance, it would help my mental state. Right?
I think it does, to an extent, though. If you can...
I'm Aussie Pyro, I don't drink or do drugs except vape, just been here for 24 years and need a change. Sincerely, the Gooning Night Shift Security Guard.
Oh, you're in the fucking outback. Oh, shit, mate. Yeah, I totally understand that, though. Definitely. But yeah, I think changing your physical appearance can help a lot. Like losing weight. Some people are into gaining weight.
Body and mind connected and so on, right?
So like people that are trans, it's like, you feel like you're born in the wrong body. You're not allowed to transition. Okay, so I'm just going to spend the rest of my life just hating myself. Like, great.
That did not happen. Not at all. It changed nothing. It could be because I'm still not exactly happy with my...
I don't think changing your appearance fixes everyone, though. I think it could be multi-layered. I mean, this guy genuinely might just have a deep genetic depression.
body. Like when I step on a scale, it's fine, right? The number is fine. But basically, I didn't manage to lose all the dead skin that came from my...
Honestly, I don't want to be cruel. I think I don't want to be cruel here. But I think I'm 28 and I look healthier than he does and he's 25. So I genuinely think if he had like a way to improve his looks, you know, like even like a hair transplant and stuff. This is me talking about hair transplant, by the way. But, you know, and then improve his appearance, I think that would actually boost his confidence. Now, what I'm not saying, so don't get it twisted, is that, oh, he should looks max and just mute, bro. It's fine. You know, he even talked about dead skin and stuff there. Like he might actually have like a skin condition.
high weight.
But the problem is, to fix your appearance or improve your appearance, you need the motivation and the willpower to do that. So if you're that deeply depressed, it's like a self-fulfilling cycle of like, I need to do this thing. I can't do it because I'm so depressed. Then I hate myself because I can't do it. So then I become more depressed.
Weight back then. And so when I stand up...
Depression ages a man. Oh no, 100%. Stress does unreal things to your appearance.
Front of the mirror. It's still not exactly a nice.
Keep in mind, I was not roasting the guy. I wasn't. But I just know, like a lot of people, if they work on their appearance, it can genuinely do wonders to mental health. But obviously, the paradox is you need to have the willpower and the motivation to do it in the first place.
Nice thing to see, yeah. So I think my looks always were a detrimental factor to my entire life. A few years ago, my therapist recommended me a full-time clinic to go to, which I did. I stayed there for 3 months, lived there the entire day. There were like working shifts in the morning for 4 hours.
What does he mean? Did he go to a mental health ward?
And going there, I hoped that it would help me, right? Because it was a clinic for people with mental health problems like myself.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I hope that if I was around people somewhat similar to me, I'd be able to talk. I did my working shifts, as was mandatory. Then after...
Thank you, Iggy, for the 2. Join late. What's the plan today? Watching videos.
Work was always food in the cafeteria. And once I've eaten, I went to my room.
I'm a pretty stressed guy and I have spouts of depression, but it never gets this bad. Yeah, if it's consistent and it lasts for years, it can be absolutely debilitating. I think everyone goes through bouts of depression. I've gone through bouts of depression. Like, you know, everyone has.
As a trans individual, changing your physical appearance isn't priority for a lot of us. It's also mental stuff too. Love you, Pookie XD.
Thank you, Annan, for the 10. What do you mean mental stuff? Because I thought with... I mean, again, I can definitely speak on this because I'm not trans. But I thought it was... Because I've spoke to some trans people and they've basically... A lot of them have said to me, they feel that they're born... Shit. They feel like they're born in the wrong body. So they can work on improving their mental health by being able to transition.
And just waited for the day to be over. Yeah, I did that for 3 months. Then both myself and the staff agreed staying there would not lead to much in my current mental health state.
Yeah, that's really sad. He goes to a mental health ward and the staff are just like, nah, we can't help you, bro. That's shit. What? Why would they do that? That's like going to a therapist and the therapist... I mean, there's been therapists that have said to people... This isn't going to work, I'm sorry. But then what they do is they recommend you to one that has like a different way of helping. Like some therapists do CBT, cock and ball torture, or cognitive behavioral therapy. Like everyone has like a different way. They're taught a different way to kind of get into your head.
So even the clinic didn't really change me. Though it was mostly on me, right?
No, I fucking knew someone would say gym. I knew it. The thing is with the gym, it does naturally give you dopamine. It does. But again, it's like the looks maxing. To go to the gym, you need to actually have the motivation and the willpower to do it. This guy said at the start of the video, he's just been lying in bed day after day. Like there's no urge to get up. Like how the fuck is he going to go from lying in bed to then doing an hour in the gym?
I wasn't.
Like when you go, I compare going to the gym as I compare me as a child going to church, right? Because I was brought up Christian. You feel great after the gym, like you feel great after church. Because after the gym, it's the longest possible time before you have to go back and do it again.
Maybe still, I'm not ready for big changes like that. I don't know. And the thing is, in my normal day-to-day life, I don't have a problem with being alone, not having anybody. At least it feels like that, right? I can easily entertain myself with other things. But it took a while to admit, but deep down, there is probably a part of me that wants some sort of bond with someone. The only...
Yeah, I think the problem is when your depression gets that deep rooted, you want to isolate more and more. You know, it's like you get invited out to do something. Oh, I can't. I'm not really feeling it. Because it's like, imagine the curse of being depressed and introvert, where it's like you need social situations because you're a human and we're social animals, but then your social battery gets drained socializing. Like, the actual curse of that.
Person that I have at all is my mom. I wouldn't really say we're close.
Okay, he has his mom at least. I thought he said at the beginning he didn't have any family, like they all passed away.
Like, there isn't much of a bond, really. It feels like more... Well, I feel like it's more...
Sarah Safari gym content creator. She said in the podcast that she goes to the gym to not off herself. That's crazy. I think you'll notice that a lot of content creators and a lot of content creators and streamers go to the gym. I mean, I do. I wouldn't say I'm ripped or anything. Definitely not. I've got a pretty average build. But like, you do it because if you're not going to the gym, you're basically just sat behind your computer all day.
More of an obligation for her because I'm her son. I love my mom. I do. But not too long ago, I did realize that she contributed to me being who I am in a negative way. We all...
Sertraline helped me feel better, but man, it's hard to not want to participate in a system that works against you. Oh, to want to participate.
know the...
Yeah, I've heard mixed things on like antidepressants. I've heard from people that like, even though it's meant to be an antidepressant, when you start taking it, you feel worse than if you never took it in the first place, and only after the benefits come. Thank you, Iggy, for the 3. Rosenhan's 1973 experiment, sane patients were sent to psych wards, and somehow the psych wards diagnosed them with severe mental disorders. Yeah, it sounds like UK healthcare.
Let it be 10 years. First 10 years of your life are incredibly formative for your entire life. And when I look back at those years, if I had to...
Antidepressants change you entirely. I've never taken medication, so I can't relate. But I've just heard from people saying that they've become more depressed, but then they saw benefits afterwards.
To describe the parenting she did, I'd call it the bare minimum. Like making sure I go to school, basically that I leave the house in the morning, right? As long as she didn't hear from the teachers, she didn't really care what I did at school. And then, of course, she made sure I had food on my plate, which I'm thankful for. But they were also... They're not the best.
Well, yeah, any medication you take will always have side effects, always. If there was like a perfect drug that didn't have any side effects, like imagine how like everyone would be taking it.
Things that happened. Yeah, around when I was 7 or 8, she got a new boyfriend who has a son. And my mom and the boyfriend often compared me to him, negatively, of course. And back then I didn't really think much of it, but looking back at it now as an adult, you shouldn't do that, definitely not. While I'm at my mom, might as well talk about my family situation as a whole. Like I said, I have pretty much nobody, and that's because I cut off the rest of my family. It's not like I have a big family in the first place, because we originally migrated to Germany in 2004.
I mean, that's another sad thing as well, like he's cut off his family. Because again, if you're in that deep depression, it's so much easier to isolate yourself instead of actually reaching out to people. Because there's a lot of things that happen when you reach out to someone. There could be feelings of like shame, embarrassment, which could get so huge that you just don't want to reach out to anyone.
And of course, not everyone came with us, so pretty much just a handful of people. I used to think I cut them off for more logical reasons, I guess you'd call them. I don't gain anything from keeping in contact. Over time, I realized there's a different reason.
Self-image is detrimental, you would not believe. For the longest time, I looked like something you'd goon to. What a way to describe yourself. So you look like a commission. Great. But then I got into boxing and it boosted my confidence. Oh, yeah. You know Young Lean? Is that Young Lean or is that Barry Dillon? Yo, Barry Dillon. Now, Young Lean got into boxing and it improved his mental confidence loads. I mean, Young Lean was someone that did loads of drugs. He went to a psych ward for a bit and then he got clean and then he relapsed and then he got clean and then he relapsed and then he got clean and he stayed clean. But he's over a year sober now, which is like based as fuck for him. But like I love Young Lean because he did this documentary with Spotify and he just lives like an old man. Like a retired old man, just driving around in his car in Stockholm, and then he'll go to like a coffee house, get some tea, and then he'll drive to a studio and do a bunch of like clay pottery, and then he'll do boxing as well, and that's it. That's his day, and it's like, holy. Like, how much better of a life to live is that than, you know, so many people in the rap industry that just become like absolute druggies? Like, that's someone that in that industry went into the darkest depths imaginable of just complete psychosis, but he actually managed through his own willpower and his support network pulling him out of that.
As I've said, we've migrated over to Germany, and out of all my family members, my mom is the only one that really made an effort to integrate herself into this new country. The rest of my family...
Yeah, he lives like Mike Ehrmantraut.
...just kept on living like they're still back in Kazakhstan, right? And what came of that is a language barrier. I mainly learned German, right? I moved over when I was 4, so my Russian was very bad. So
I bet you this guy is such a nice, genuine person as well. I think I saw like a study somewhere saying that like if you're bilingual or if you learn more languages, you're naturally a more empathetic person.
All my family only speaks Russian.
I wouldn't say that with everyone. I think Hitler spoke some English, so I'm not going to say that with everyone. Thank you, Iggy. Life after treatment is what causes relapse. Oh yeah, definitely. Because then you got to learn how to do it all on your own.
And while I mainly speak German, so there was this language barrier. I have like 50 words in my vocabulary. And yeah, that's obviously nothing. So whenever I talked to someone out of my family, it felt like I had to play like a character, you know? I could never be myself. It almost felt like automatic responses, which I think that ties back to a core fear of mine, like being judged for who I am, not being myself, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I feel like this is someone who has to constantly mask himself, which is really sad.
And yeah, that combined with the fact that I don't gain anything positive from them.
I mean, I feel everyone masks to an extent, right? I know that they use the term with autism about masking. That's like a more extreme degree. But it's like you go to a social outing, you meet people that you haven't seen before, you know, you mask, you try to represent yourself as the nicest version of yourself imaginable. You're hiding all the insecurities and all the problems.
I cut off contact with my entire family. So I spent my entire day watching YouTube, playing games, and that works. I can push away reality during the day. Yeah,
that's sad. Dude, I remember when I was like 15 playing video games and I could just do it. I could do it for a week straight. But now, because I'm 28, which isn't that much older than this guy, if I play video games all day now, I get depressed. Genuinely. I can't play video games anymore. On stream and for videos, yes. But playing video games in my own time. I mean, okay. So my day today, right? I went out, got my shit sorted with my dentist. They gave me like a scale and polish and stuff. And then I walked around Melbourne for a bit. I got like a coffee. And then I went shopping. I bought some protein powder, some contact lenses, just like boring essential stuff. And then I came back, I went to the gym, and then I had this beautiful poke bowl, and then I recorded some slop, and then I streamed. And then if I play video games after this stream on my own, it's like, okay, I've deserved this. Like that's my kind of downtime. But if I were to just sit and play video games all day, like when I was younger, I'd be like, this fucking sucks. Like, money. I need to make sure my team has work. You know, there's like all these kind of pressures and stuff like that. I remember this one comment, which is great. And it was this like guy in the subway, and he was saying something.
When I was 10 years old, I was rich. I was an aristocrat, riding around in taxis, surrounded by comfort, and all I thought about was art and music. Now I'm 36, and all I think about is money.
The quote doesn't entirely make sense, but it's like when you're a kid, it's just you can do absolutely nothing and just still enjoy yourself. There's no pressures. But then when you're in your 20s, it's like, okay, it's over. I need to lock in. I can't play video games. I'm not doing a drop shipping scam.
But like I said, at night, the question...
Poke bowl. I said it right. We're not doing this again. I promise you, we're not doing this again. I'm not even fucking playing it, because that's just a made up word. I'm not even playing the pronunciation. Made up word.
Questions pop up. What are you doing? What will you be doing? And what have you done in the past? And of course, you come up with solutions to the situation, right? Like one thing I could do is talk with people online, be it Discord or some sort of community, I don't know. I've never done that before, right? Even though I'm an addict, internet addict, I never had a Discord.
Yeah, I think that's the saddest thing as well. Not that he doesn't have a Discord, that's a good thing. But it's like he just admitted to himself that he's so terminally online, and there are so many people out there that are terminally online. They just use the internet all the time to like shitpost and stuff. But then when it comes to actually talking to someone, they can't do it. There's this, you know, the GIF, black man talking to the brick wall. It's literally just that. Like they cannot enter that realm of socializing because there's so many aspects that come. There's fear of rejection. What if this person doesn't like me? There's this fear of oversharing. I'm not posting on Twitter anymore. I'm actually talking to another person with thoughts and feelings. This is too much for me to manage. I just watch people like a tweet, you know, that kind of thing. So some people just like don't socialize. They just shut them off. They shut themselves off completely from it.
Account. I never was part of a community.
What's the shirt you're wearing? It's a Cruelty Squad shirt.
Never texted anyone online.
Are you coming to Oz Comic Con?
Because even
I've never done a Comic Con, you know. I might do one. I'll probably do PAX this year, but
it's too much. Any sort of social interaction is too much. So yeah, I don't.
Dude, I did a convention once at PAX, and then I met someone that queued up to see me that I literally commissioned art from. That was like the biggest whiplash I ever had in my life.
Know where I'm going in my life.
I really hope the comments for this guy are supportive.
Yeah, but I think I've said everything I have to.
I feel you, brother. I'm 27, no job, no career, never had a girlfriend, no friends. I'm 34, live in my car in California. You need a hug for real. Yeah, I love when you see these kinds of comment sections. Because all it is people just like supporting each other. You're 25. 6 months, hard work and dedication can completely change your life. Yeah, I think, what's the saying? Your brain locks in at 25. That's who you are. Like, the way I am now is going to be the way I am for the rest of my life. The only thing that's going to change is my body's going to get older. The point about being an internet addict and not talking to anyone on the internet is so real. I spend the majority of my time online, but don't communicate with a single person. Yeah, because again, it's that barrier. Like, you could face rejection. Fucking hell, I feel like I'm doing a healthy gamer GG bit here. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sure it wasn't easy. Please don't give up. Oh, here's an old head. I'm 42 and feel like a failure. I hate waking up every day to my existence and reality. I have almost 20 years on you. You have plenty of time to change and take opportunities. Don't let the enemy win. Keep building calluses. Yeah, 42 is crazy. That's a completely different generation. That was like before the internet, or like when the internet was first. No, that was before the internet. I'm 27. Took me 6 years to finish university. Been unemployed since 2022. I hate dealing with people. Wish I had a farm or something so I can sustain myself. Yeah, I really hope these guys self-improve, because there's a very dangerous thing that happens when people feel like they've got nothing in life. They start to hate society and blame society for it. Society is at fault. Society is at fault, by the way. I'm not disagreeing with that. Like, fucking, you see, like, mental health in the UK? Holy shit. Wait, let's have a look. There will just be an article saying they're getting worse. 22% of 17 to 24-year-olds experience a mental health disorder. 1 in 4 people in the UK have a mental health condition. Fucking 1 in 4. Oh, nice one. House of Commons Library, statistic going up. Why resilience won't solve the mental health crisis? Yeah, if you actually put some fucking money into mental health care in the UK, you wouldn't have that problem, would you? But anyways. My girlfriend of 5 years left me after my entire business went up in smoke. Lost my house, my fiance, my job, all my money, all my motivation. I gained weight, my dog, self-esteem. Yeah, that's another thing as well. Like, people tend to put on a lot of weight in depression, usually because, like, you know, junk food, for example, gives you like so much dopamine. You feel like shit afterwards. You know the meme where it's like you order a KFC and ordering it, you get a better high than when you've actually eaten it, and you just feel like shit. But if you've got nothing else, you'll keep doing that. And then you put on weight, and then you'll feel even worse about yourself. I feel like I'm about to go full fucking incel, man. Like, our society is fucking full of so many nasty little traps that you can fall into. And you need to be, like, keyed and locked in to be able to fight against all of those. Seriously. It's actually insane. Alright, this video is actually fucking hell.